Good Sunday morning. Welcome to Inside Tennessee. I'm your moderator this morning, John North. John Becker is away on assignment. We've got our two regular panelists. Unfortunately, they're not with us inside. We've got them remotely, but it's still a joy to talk to them. And we want to hit a lot of things this morning, so let me introduce them if I could. We've got Don Bosch, who is an attorney and a Democrat, and Susan Richardson-Williams, who runs her own PR company and is a Republican. Welcome to both of you. How are you doing?
Good morning. We're making it.
Some days that's the very best thing one could say. I'm making it.
That's right.
All right. So what's that, Susan?
I was going to say I've had a week at the beach, so I'm peaceful and calm and tanned, rested, and ready.
I'm glad to hear that. And no hurricanes. It's been a quiet hurricane season. Okay, so we've got a lot we want to talk about, but let's start with one of the big sort of topics in not just Tennessee, not just Knoxville, Tennessee, but the United States, and that is the whole issue of abortion and what happens now to various laws in various states, including the state of Tennessee. I'll start by reminding you all that this past week, Knoxville City Council took up a resolution. I'm not sure there was really much doubt that it was going to pass. It is symbolic. It does not hold much force in Nashville, but it basically noted and asked the legislature to respect the fact that abortion is a fundamental component of gynecological health. Very interesting. Passed almost unanimously. There was one abstention. Don and Susan, your thoughts about that? Like I say, it's kind of symbolic.
Well, it is symbolic, but it is important because I think every voice that wants to be heard on this issue needs to be heard and needs to be heard loudly. Clearly, the majority of Americans are in support of reproductive rights and leaving the choices that come with that to women and not government. And Susan and I have talked about this on past weeks. It has galvanized the left and Democrats in a way, and frankly, moderates and independents in a way that I don't recall a particular issue galvanizing. So it's important that they did it. It doesn't hold any weight or any force of law, but I'm glad City Council did it. It'd be interesting to see if County Commission comes along and does the same thing, being a lot more to the right as a legislative body.
Susan, this is obviously a really easy issue for Democrats, they think, and it's a little bit difficult for Republicans. So from this perspective, what are you thinking?
Well, it is difficult. It's a very difficult issue. And, as you know, Tennessee passed several abortion laws and the trigger law, which is now in effect. And it has very little wiggle room. I think most of us would like to see some exceptions in the law for rape, incest, certainly for the life of the mother. I know Senator Briggs has talked about this, and where you have an ectopic pregnancy, where there is no way that the fetus can survive, and it certainly can be harmful to the mother. Senator Massey has made some comments about this as well, that she would like to see some exceptions. And even Representative Jason Zachary, who is probably more conservative than maybe Briggs and Massey, even he has said he would certainly be open to listening from doctors on some recommendations and to see what they would suggest. I think our bill that passed in Tennessee puts the onus back on the physicians to defend themselves if they have done an abortion on trying to save the life of the mother. And that's very complicated, and I think physicians, we're going to lose some OBGYNs, I'm confident, if that stands. So I'm hopeful that when the session starts in January, that they will look at this very carefully and maybe do some polling on it, if nothing else. They generally react to what their constituents are thinking. So let's hope they'll come back and give us some wiggle room in this law.
Don, let's be clear. You are charged, and then you have the option of asserting the defense. If you're a provider who's been charged, you then have the option. You've already been charged now, but you've got the option of saying, well, but I was doing it because the mother's life was in danger, or the baby had no brain, or whatever.
Yeah, John, to step in, that's exactly right. It's an affirmative defense. And while we absolutely need to hear from the doctors, I'm growing a little weary of this right-wing patter that we need to hear from the doctors. You know who we need to hear from? the women it affects. It's a healthcare right and a healthcare choice. And it's not just about the doctors, although this statute is horrific for doctors should they perform an abortion and then have to get criminally charged, go to jail, make bond, hire somebody like me, frankly, and then go out there and defend this. But this is really a tragedy for those states like Tennessee that have passed similar legislation.
American
John,
go ahead, Susan.
I was just going to say, I have great concern about this issue for the November elections. Obviously, I'm a woman. I have concerns about the whole thing in general. But I do think it's got the potential to change the course of the elections in November. And we've talked about this before on the show, but if the 18 to 40-year-old women who generally don't turn out in great numbers to vote on federal elections, if they do turn out in greater numbers because of this issue, you know, picking up the Senate is probably not going to happen. I'm concerned Republicans might not even pick up the House. So I think, you know, we need to think through this for the women, number one, for the life of the baby, number two, but also it is a political issue. And so these legislators need to think this through very carefully.
Couple points. Clarksville City Council also apparently took action, not as united as Knoxville's was. Similar motion, and then I'll just close with what Knoxville Mayor India Kikanen said. She did not take a vote. She's not allowed to vote in this matter, but she said, "I trust women to make their own health care decisions." We're going to take a break right now. You're watching Inside Tennessee, but we are coming right back.